You walk out onto your lawn on a quiet Saturday morning. You grab a cup of coffee, look down at your grass, and stop in your tracks. Something dug a hole in your yard overnight. Now, most people instantly blame the usual suspects. They think it's gotta be a mole, or maybe a skunk hunting for grubs. In part 1 of the series, we covered those common diggers. But what if you check off every single one of those animals and none of them match the clues on your lawn? Here is the surprising truth. Some of the most active excavators in your yard are not the animals you see on TV. In fact, some of them are not even mammals at all. Today, based on wildlife biology and field research from university extension entomologists, we are uncovering the top 5 secret animals digging holes in your yard and the exact forensic clues to identify them instantly. The lawn lobster that builds brick-hard mud towers, the giant solitary hunter that uses trees as runways, the secret agent rodent that carries dirt in its cheeks to hide its door, the master engineer whose bigging saved an entire volcano, the 8-legged ambush hunter living behind a secret trapdoor. Plus, make sure you stick around until the very end for our bonus backyard pro tip, a 10-second household trick to tell if a hole is currently occupied without sticking your fingers inside or harming the creature. Welcome back to Backyard Mysteries. Let's solve our first subterranean mystery. Imagine mowing your grass, hitting a small bump, and bending your steel mower blade. You look down expecting a rock. Instead, you find a round, baked mud tower that looks like a miniature volcano. What built this? Believe it or not, you have a freshwater crustacean living under your dry lawn. Meet the primary burrowing crayfish. Most people think crayfish only live in rivers and lakes, but primary burrowers spend almost their entire multi-year lives deep underground. Because crayfish breathe through gills, they have to keep wet. So they dig straight down, sometimes 3 to 10 feet deep, until they hit the underground water table. How to identify a crayfish hole? Surface clue, a 3 to 8 inch tall mud chimney made of tiny mud balls. Hole size, 1 to 2 inches wide. Location, low-lying lawns, wet patches, or near drainage ditches. As they dig, they do not just push dirt out. They roll wet clay into neat pellets with their legs and stack them like bricks to build a chimney. In the summer sun, these mud balls bake hard as concrete. Fun backyard fact, in many southern and midwestern towns, kids have caught these secret yard lodgers for generations by lowering a piece of hot dog on a string down the chimney. What if the hole in your yard was built by an animal with wings? In mid to late summer, homeowners across the eastern and central United States wake up to find dozens of neat dirt piles in sunny, sandy patches of their lawn. Next to each pile is an open hole, about the size of a quarter. This is the work of the eastern cicada killer wasp. While they look terrifying, growing up to 1.5 inches long, they are solitary, gentle giants. The females do all the heavy lifting. Using their jaws and spiny legs, they kick out several pounds of sand to create an underground nursery. How to identify a cicada killer hole? Surface clue, a distinct U-shaped crescent ramp of loose dirt. Entrance, an open hole, 0.5 to 1.5 inches wide, at the center of the ramp. Location, dry, sandy soil in full direct sunlight. The way they stock these underground rooms is pure physics. A cicada is heavier than the wasp herself. She cannot take off from flat grass with that much weight, so after paralyzing a cicada in the trees, she drags it up a tree trunk, reaches a high branch, and launches into a controlled glide straight into her burrow entrance. Even wilder, scientific research from Lafayette College showed that mother wasps choose the sex of their babies based on food. If she puts 1 cicada in a nursery cell, that egg becomes a male. If she packs in 2 or 3 cicadas, that egg becomes a larger female. And do not worry, the scary males you see buzzing around your ankles do not even have a stinger. Nature is full of incredible secrets happening right beneath our sneakers. If you love uncovering these hidden backyard mysteries, take a quick second right now to hit that subscribe button and join our community. Have you ever found one of these mud chimneys or mysterious wasp runways in your grass? Tell me your story in the comments below. I read every single one. Now, let's look at a hole that has zero dirt around it at all. Here's a classic backyard brain teaser. You find a perfectly round 2-inch hole next to your patio steps, but there is not a single grain of loose dirt anywhere near the opening. Where did all the soil go? Meet the eastern chipmunk, the stealth engineer of the rodent world. When a chipmunk digs out its massive 30-foot underground tunnel system, it does not leave a messy pile outside. That would tell hawks and foxes exactly where its front door is. Instead, the chipmunk packs excavated dirt into its stretchy cheek pouches, runs dozens of feet away, and scatters the dirt hidden under bushes and mulch. How to identify a chipmunk burrow. Surface clue: a clean, perfectly round 2-inch hole with 0 dirt mound. Placement: anchored near hard objects like foundations, rock walls, or tree stumps. Architecture: deep plunge holes that drop straight down for fast escapes. Underneath that clean hole is an engineered home, complete with a sleeping room lined with leaves, food storage pantries, drainage pits to prevent flooding, and even dedicated bathroom latrines to keep their tunnels clean.
Homeowners frequently mix up moles and pocket gophers, but if you look closely at the shape of the dirt pile, you will never confuse them again. Mole mound versus gopher mound. Mole mound, symmetrical, cone-shaped volcano with dirt pushed out from the dead center. Pocket gopher mound, asymmetrical, fan-shaped or kidney bean-shaped dirt ramp with a sealed off-center plug. Pocket gophers use their long claws and large front teeth to push soil out like a bulldozer. When they finish an area, they plug the exit hole with dirt from the inside to block out predators. While they can be frustrating in garden beds, these rodents are true ecological heroes. After the catastrophic 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington state, volcanic ash smothered hundreds of square miles into a lifeless gray desert. But scientists discovered that pocket gophers survived deep underground. When gophers tunneled to the surface, they brought buried pre-eruption soil, beneficial microbes, and dormant fungal spores back up to the sunlight. Pioneer and lupine plants took root directly in the gopher mounds, kick-starting the recovery of an entire ecosystem decades faster than anyone predicted.
Our final mystery digger creates a structure so well hidden you could walk over it for 20 years and never see it. This is the trapdoor spider. Found across warm and temperate regions, these spiders dig a vertical tube up to a foot deep. But instead of leaving an open hole, the spider builds a custom hinged door using layers of thick silk, clay, and soil. How to identify a trapdoor spider burrow. Surface clue: a flush, circular cork or wafer lid perfectly disguised with living moss and dirt. Webbing: smooth silk lining inside the tube, but 0 web trip lines spreading out onto the grass. Behavior: completely hidden during daylight, pops open at night when it feels footsteps nearby. The spider disguises the outside of the door with living moss and leaf fragments. At night, she sits just below the rim with her front feet touching the door. When a beetle walks past, the door flies open, the spider strikes, and the lid snaps shut, all in the blink of an eye. Female trapdoor spiders are peaceful neighbors and can live in the exact same burrow for over 20 years.
As promised, here is your backyard pro tip: the 24-hour leaf test. If you find an open hole in your yard and want to know if an animal is still living inside, do not pour water down it or fill it with heavy dirt. Simply take a loosely crumpled dry leaf or a light piece of crumpled tissue paper and place it gently over the opening. If the paper is pushed out of the way or pulled inside within 24 hours, you have an active tenant. If the leaf stays untouched for several days, the burrow has been abandoned. Now that you know these 5 secret diggers, what about the big 3 lawn wreckers? If you see raised ridges, chewed tree bark, or surface trails running across your grass, you need to watch our next video: mole, gopher, or vole. Here's how to tell who actually dug up your yard. Click the video right on your screen now to find out. Until next time, keep looking closer, because the greatest mysteries are often hiding in the places we walk past every day.